As president of the board of directors of St. Anne's Center, it is my pleasure to welcome you to our Hope Blossoms 160th Anniversary Gala. We have a program planned for you that we believe will uplift, inspire, and entertain you. We thank you for joining us for this historic occasion. To open the program, Sister Mary Bader, a pillar of this institution and the CEO of St. Anne's Center, will lead us in prayer.
Thank you, Tanya, and thank you for all joining us this evening for this celebration of 160 years of service. Although we cannot be together in person, we are so pleased to share this time with you virtually. I have faith that this experience will further strengthen our bonds. And now, as we begin all things at St. Anne's, we will begin with prayer. Gracious and loving God, we thank you for all your blessings tonight as we celebrate St. Anne's 160th anniversary. We thank you for the special mission you have entrusted to us. Because of your blessings and the kindness and support of many, St. Anne's roots have grown deep and our mission has flourished over the years as we have cared for women and children who have found a home with us. We ask, loving God, that you continue to bless St. Anne's, the women and children we serve, and all those who join us in this life-affirming work. Amen. Our MC tonight is someone with whom we share a very special connection. He has been a longtime supporter of St. Anne's and has served as our gala MC in the past. However, our relationship with him goes back a good 60 years when he lived here as a baby, awaiting the moment when he would be adopted into his loving family. This child grew up to make his mark in our region as an attorney and the first African-American lieutenant governor of Maryland. He has been a leader in the national stage as the chair of the Republican National Committee and as a political commentator on national news networks. It is my pleasure to introduce our MC, Michael Steele.
Thank you, Sister Mary. It is my honor and pleasure to be here with you on this special occasion. And yes, my roots truly run deep at St. Anne's. I am grateful from my beginnings at St. Anne's and feel blessed to have maintained an ongoing relationship with this institution that has changed the trajectory of so many lives for more than a century and a half. St. Anne's housing and support programs for mothers and children have been transformative. The center's mission focuses on helping mothers build their inherent skills and talents to make their own way in the world and to provide a bright future for their children. Sometimes just knowing that someone believes in you and is investing in you is inspiration enough to hold your head up, push through your doubts and difficulties, and work for your dreams. St. Anne's has indeed been a ray of sunshine for countless families. And with that in mind, let's get this party started, right? With a musical performance by a super talented young man who you might recognize from season 14 of The Voice. He is Washington, D.C.'s own Terrence Cunningham singing Here Comes the Sun.
Here comes the sun, doo-doo-doo. Here comes the sun, and I say it's alright. Little darling, it's been a long, cold, lonely winter. Little darling, feels like a year since it's been here. And here comes the sun, doo-doo-doo. Here comes the sun, and I say it's alright. Little darling, the smiles we returning to the faces. Little darling, seems like a year since it's been here. Here comes the sun, doo-doo-doo. Here comes the sun, and I say it's alright. Sun, 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 sun. Sun, 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 sun. Sun, 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 sun. Sun, 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 sun. Little darling, I feel the ice is slowly melting. Little darling, seems like a year since it's been clear that here comes the sun. Here comes the sun, and I say it's alright.
Thank you for having me, and thank you for supporting St. Anne's Center. It is my honor and pleasure to make my contribution to this organization's critically important mission, the Teen Mother Baby Program, the supportive and transitional housing, the education and training programs, plus social work services and childcare turn hopelessness into hopefulness for families. Learning about this impact inspires me to want to use my talent and contribute to the center's fundraising efforts. I am happy to announce that I will provide a virtual concert for the families of St. Anne's thanks to John and Judy Ritz, benefactor sponsors of the gala. We thank you for your sponsorship, and I look forward to meeting you directly following this broadcast. I am also looking forward to a meet and greet with the families at St. Anne's to talk about my life as a professional musician and recording artist, as well as my experience on The Voice, Team Terrence, after this virtual concert. When you learn how St. Anne's Center is making a difference in the lives of so many families, you too will be inspired to contribute. I'd like you all to hear directly from someone whose family that has been served by St. Anne's Center, Miss Ajay Ross.
Thank you so much, Terrence, for introducing me. My name is Ajay Ross. I have been at St. Anne's for about 2 years now. To tell you a little bit about my story, I actually am coming back, and that can tell you a little bit about St. Anne's. They have been like such an open door for me. I came here when I was a teenager, and I got a job, and I thought I can face the world alone by myself. And I wound up in the same position, being homeless again with my son. So I came back to St. Anne's. They welcomed me with open doors, open arms, and it's been a pleasure since I've been here. I've been able to accomplish so much. I just received my associates from Prince George's Community College. I'm now looking to go to Bowie State University to complete a bachelor's degree. My son, this is T. Williams. He is in Perrywood Elementary School. He is in 4th grade. Right now we're facing virtual learning, so that has been a little struggle, but we're doing great. I'm able to work from home as well as be like a teacher to my son as well. The social workers, they provide me with so much help and resources. I eventually plan to own my own home, so the fact that they can look into, first-time home buying programs for me also help me with my budgeting. They send out pamphlets or papers, should I say, every once a month to provide for budgeting to help me save for a house one day. Mostly, I love just being able to have a safe environment to raise my son in is the big thing. We also have social life skill classes, but we meet once a week, and it's either parenting, which gives us some tips on how to be a better parent, or social life skills. So we go over some financial tips, budgeting, saving. They talk about credit, which is very important because I didn't really understand how much credit is, important, for your daily activities. If you want to buy a car, a house, it's really important to have credit. So those skills definitely help. Also, I miss, parties, and I just miss interactions with other people, period. We used to have a lot of parties, I'm sorry. Just recently, they had an Easter egg hunt, or the Christmas parties. They do so much, and I'm so grateful for that, especially the holidays. They do, so much for us. What I love about St. Anne's is the community. I have great relationships with the other girls. I'm able to be a support for some of the other residents by watching their children or taking them to daycare. And I think I would hope that they would do the same for me one day if I ever needed the help. For someone who will be coming here for the first time, I know you may be depressed because you have been out of place from your home, but don't be discouraged. You can do this. Just stay encouraged, stay focused, get whatever you want to do, as go to school or get a job. Just stick to that and don't give up.
Wow, such a moving story. Let's bring another dear friend of St. Anne's Center to the screen. He has been called the Ryan Seacrest of D.C. and D.C.'s media ambassador to celebrity guests from across the nation. He is the co-founder of the broadcast channel Real Fun DC and the co-host of the channel's Tommy and Kelly Show. Welcome, Tommy McFly.
Thank you, and good evening, everyone. I am so excited to be with you here tonight for St. Anne's 160th year Hope Blossoms Virtual Gala. 160 years of community impact. What a remarkable achievement. Just think about that, 160 years. We've got a lot to celebrate tonight, and there is so much more entertainment and inspiration to come, and I'm looking forward to see who wins that dinner for four from Chef Jeff. As we move through the program, don't forget to get social with us this evening. We invite you to mix and mingle online by sharing your best selfie, your watch party photo, your video to Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Make sure you're using the hashtag HopeBlossoms160. And we'll reshare the best photos and video on St. Anne's social media pages. I think this is a great time to ask you for just a small favor. A small favor from everyone watching tonight. It's a given that you're here with us, supportive, because you care about the community that St. Anne serves, and you know that they've been a trusted source for families in need. Let's just for a second wrap our head around that fact, that this organization has served DC area families for 160 years, without as much of a pause. Wouldn't you agree? That's worth contributing whatever we can to make sure they have the ability to continue this mission long into the future. $5,000 can help support parenting, life skills, and workforce development classes for St. Anne's Center's residents. These support programs are key to mothers' success. Please, invest in the future Michael Steele and Ajay Rosses of the world, who will find a home at St. Anne's. I ask you to open your heart and support a St. Anne's family by texting HOPE 2021 to 76278. That's HOPE 2021 to 76278. Or by clicking that GiveSmart link, super easy, displayed right there on your screen. While you're donating, let's get a little history lesson from our next guest. I have the distinct honor, and frankly, never thought I would get to introduce this former president. Presenting to you, the 16th President of the United States, President Abraham Lincoln.
Good evening, my fellow citizens. A century and 70 ago, that's 160 years for the millennials in the audience, our fledgling nation faced an existential threat. There were deep divisions that were leading to an inevitable war, not with a foreign adversary, but within our own ranks. In the midst of this uncertainty and social upheaval, 3 Daughters of Charity set forth the proposition that no child should be left abandoned without love, care, and the possibility for a bright future. These brave daughters, no doubt guided by divine inspiration, heeded their calling to create a home for orphaned or abandoned infants, one that would grow to serve mothers, children, and families. 3 years later, in 1863, in the midst of war, it was my honor to sign the Act of Congress which incorporated what was first named St. Anne's Infant Asylum. That same year, I gave the Gettysburg Address, imploring our countrymen to honor those who had given their lives so that we might birth a new nation, of the people, by the people, and for the people. We were imperfect then, and I dare say we remain imperfect today. Yet, St. Anne's has remained a constant as a force for good, an institution which inspires and reminds us to remain devoted to the ideals for which this nation was created, such that each individual, regardless of race, religion, or creed, shall have opportunities to pursue a rewarding life of liberty, purpose, and happiness. Let us take a look at some of St. Anne's 160-year history on this marvel of American ingenuity invention, the visual picture show.
A place that exists to love and nurture babies and children who have no family to care for them is a community treasure. Knowing you have a safe place to sleep, food to eat, and a supportive space to figure out the best path for yourself and your young or unborn child is a priceless blessing. Picture yourself transitioning from a fearful, desperate, hopeless existence to one of peace, healing, and excitement about your future. Imagine the emotional and spiritual journey you would take from feeling lost and alone to feeling surrounded by love, compassion, and support to pursue your dreams. There is a place that has transformed thousands of lives in this way over 160 years. This place is proof that through wars, famine, pandemics, and social unrest, God and human goodness are always among us.
It was the summer of 1860 when 3 Daughters of Charity came to the nation's capital to open the doors to Washington's first foundling home. The sisters came in response to the growing number of babies that were being abandoned. 3 years later, President Abraham Lincoln acknowledged that need by signing an act of Congress officially incorporating the institution in the District of Columbia. St. Anne's became one of the first authorized adoption agencies in the Washington area.
When St. Anne's was founded, it was an orphanage in the traditional sense of the word. Children, primarily infants, were being placed in the care of the 3 Daughters of Charity who founded St. Anne's.
As the demand for the sisters' services rapidly increased, it became necessary for them to find a larger home. In 1863, they moved to 2300 K Street, a place they would stay for 83 years. From the very beginning, St. Anne's also provided shelter to young mothers.
It was a program that served mothers-to-be who were not married or whose husbands or the father of their children might be serving in the Civil War. These women in the 1860s really had nowhere to go, and they came to St. Anne's, which was located down near the White House, and were cared for there.
In 1897, a country estate located in Berwyn, Maryland, that was donated to St. Anne's became the summer residence for the toddlers and children. The urgent need for charity in caring for abandoned children continued into the 1900s. In 1920, there were 130 children living at the orphanage.
72 years ago, my mother had me out of wedlock, and I was immediately taken to St. Anne's Infant Home, which used to be on California Street. And I was a child of St. Anne's for 5 years. I know I was always a happy child. And if I was a happy child from childhood, I would have had to have something nurturing and loving and caring from the beginning. And I am positive, I mean, my heart tells me it was here.
In 1958, Archbishop O'Boyle called upon Washington area Catholics to support the construction of a new building. Located on a large piece of property in Hyattsville, Maryland, the new made-to-order home for St. Anne's was dedicated in May 1962. As the years have passed, the role and mission of St. Anne's has changed. St. Anne's Teen Mother Baby Program has evolved from 1860. Teens who are pregnant or have a young child come to St. Anne's at a very vulnerable time in their lives.
I was about 15 or 16 when we discovered I was pregnant. And within a month or so, I was here. I really feel like St. Anne's was pivotal to my success and to my development as a young mother. You know, just going into life, it changed everything for me.
In 2013, Hope House opened for mothers and children experiencing homelessness, offering private bedrooms for families with shared living spaces and resources for successful transition to financial independence and self-sufficiency. In 2013, St. Anne's Educational and Employment Program, EEP, expanded the St. Anne's High School program to provide pathways to academic and career advancement. The EEP utilizes the St. Anne's model of individually tailored plans based on a woman's particular education and employment needs, including career development, GED assistance, an array of life skills and parenting skills classes to strengthen family self-sufficiency and long-term success. In 1996, Faith House was established to provide transitional affordable housing for mothers and children experiencing homelessness, enabling mothers to become more self-sufficient as they pursue education, complete job training programs, and enter the workforce.
St. Anne's Community Child Care Center provides daycare not only for the residents of St. Anne's, but for families in the surrounding community.
I came to know St. Anne's because my son was taken out of custody of his mother and placed over here. I guess the most exciting thing was when I got to bring him home for the first weekend. I come back every couple of months and let them see how he's doing. I've always felt like if I ever need anything, I could come back here for anything, even if it's just somebody to talk to.
The Founding Daughters of Charity began a mission 160 years ago that the sisters have carried forward with the support of generous donors, committed volunteers, and devoted staff. This community institution continues to provide housing, childcare, education, job training, and life skills, along with love, compassion, dignity, and hope to women and children experiencing crisis. The Daughters of Charity and St. Anne's Center faithfully demonstrate the values and teaching of the gospel. They have been and will continue to be a haven of hope.
If we had a legion of institutions like St. Anne's Center, our nation might be in a different civil situation today. As men and women who believe in a collective responsibility for those among us in need, we have an obligation to support organizations such as these. It is my understanding that a gift of $3,000 will provide for 3 residential children to attend St. Anne's Child Care Center while their mothers pursue work, school, or in some instances, the 2 endeavors. And this is not by horse and buggy, mind you. I humbly ask that you support St. Anne's families by giving what you can. You can do so by texting HOPE 2021 to 76278 or by clicking on the Give Smart link displayed on your screen. And now, here to explain to me what texting and links are is another president, the president of the Board of St. Anne's, Miss Tanya Sharp.
Well, thank you, Mr. President, for the introduction. I'll talk to you later about texting and links, as I'm sure all of our guests online are familiar. I am actually here to present a very special award to a very special young man whom I've had the pleasure of knowing for a very long time. It gives me great pleasure to award Jake Garner the Michelle Heitenberger Volunteer Award. Jake is so deserving of this award. From the age of 8 years old when he attended his first fundraiser for St. Anne's. I will never forget him making his parents spend more money holding up the paddle. It's for the kids, it's for the kids. And since that very first time, Jake has been passionate about giving back to the family and the children at St. Anne's. He asked his parents to do chores at home, and he saved all his money. And he would bring them money to the annual fundraiser and present it to Sister Mary in an envelope. That says a lot about this young man and starting his philanthropy at such a young age. And Jake now, instead of thinking about himself at Christmas, he thinks about the families and the children at St. Anne's. He has his mom call Sister Mary, get a list of the toys that the kids want, and he and his parents go shopping. And at Christmas, they deliver toys and they fulfill dreams for the children at St. Anne's. And I don't know a lot of teenagers like Jake Garner, but this says a lot about his heart and his passion for others and wanting to change the lives and really make an impact on others. So it gives me such great pleasure to give Jake Garner the Michelle Heitenberger Volunteer Award. Wow. Jake, you are so deserving of this, and I am so happy that I get to be the person to give it to you. So proud of you.
Yes. I'm not really good with talking, but St. Anne's has been a very big part of my life since I was 8 years old. I remember going to my first auction, and then my favorite time of year is Christmas because as a shopaholic myself, it's just so much fun to just know that what we do as a family, because it's not just me, it's my parents as well, and they just help me so much do what I love to do. It just brings me great joy knowing that we are making people happy in any capacity. And, you know, not to be cliche, but this is definitely heavier than I expected. Thank you.
Jake Garner, Michelle Heitenberger Volunteer Award recipient. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Now, I'd like to pass the mic back to Michael Steele to introduce our next special guest.
Thank you, Tanya, and congratulations, Jake. For the presentation of our next award, it is my privilege to introduce to you an extremely talented son of Washington, D.C. Our next presenter, a Bishop McNamara High School graduate, published his own first novel, When I Was the Greatest, in 2014, and has since written several nationally acclaimed and award-winning novels, including the popular 2017 Marvel Comics novel called Miles Morales, Spider-Man. He currently serves as the Library of Congress's National Ambassador for Young People's Literature. And let's lean in for this special presentation now by Mr. Jason Reynolds.
Thank you so much, Mr. Steele. Before I begin, I just want to say how grateful I am to be here to present this award for St. Anne's. St. Anne's has done so much for the community, which is why this award is really, really special, because this young man has also done so much for the community. He is not only an incredible author at such a young age. By the way, I want to say I started young too, which makes me very proud to know this is still happening. He's a motivational speaker. He's an entrepreneur. He's a philanthropist. As a matter of fact, all of his book proceeds go to St. Anne's. And also, he has come out of St. Anne's. This is somebody who has benefited from St. Anne's, which is the reason I believe that he has been set forth on such a strong and righteous path. It gives me great pleasure, and it is a tremendous honor to present the Michelle Heidenberger Volunteer Award to my guy, my hero, Miguel Coppage.
I want to say thank you, St. Anne's, for this award. As an infant, I never thought I was going to become like the person I am today. Thanks to my mom and everyone who supported me through this journey.
Thank you, Jason and Miguel. Now let's invite back to the screen Mr. Tommy McFly.
Thank you very much, Mr. Steele. By now, we should all be pretty convinced of how valuable this organization is to our communities. We've seen how real lives have been impacted and how that impact has multiplied in the contributions that St. Anne's alum go on to make in the world. For each of these examples, just think about this. There are so many other similar stories out there. If you haven't yet contributed, I hope you will. I'd like to ask you to give in the spirit of Miguel's generous heart. Please take a moment right now, grab your phone and text HOPE 2021 to the number 76278. This is very important. HOPE 2021 to the number 76278. Or you can just click that Give Smart link right on your screen and donate any amount. Fun fact, $1,000 will help replace aging appliances that are used day in and day out by the families at St. Anne's. Also, did you know that during the last year, 6 St. Anne's families successfully transitioned to their own apartments? Yep, I can hear you. I can hear you clapping and cheering, and that's awesome. A contribution of $500 can help purchase household furnishings to help a family create a comfortable and safe space that they can call their own for a promising fresh start. Let's keep up the giving. And let's fill up our giving meter, which is now on the screen. Remember that no gift is too small, no gift is too big. You can give $1 million, you can give $1, whatever you can do is so appreciated. Every little bit helps St. Anne's help children and families. Coming up soon, we're gonna draw that Chef Jeff catered dinner for 4 by Chef Jeff himself. Just for purchasing your ticket to tonight's gala, you've automatically been entered. You're welcome. St. Anne's is super awesome, right? After you've made your donation, remember to share on all the socials. This is important because if everybody shares, well then more people will know about hashtag HopeBlossoms160. And now let's send it back to you, Mr. Steele.
Thank you, Tommy. And wow, folks, what an evening. This is incredible. Now, as you continue your giving, it is my distinct pleasure to introduce to you the 7th Archbishop of Washington, His Eminence, Wilton Cardinal Gregory.
My dear friends, peace be with you. It is an honor and privilege to join you virtually for Hope Blossoms 2021. Your theme this evening is Our Roots Run Deep. This could not be more true as we celebrate your 160th year history supporting vulnerable mothers and their children in the Washington, D.C. region. From the heart, I would like to thank the outstanding, dedicated St. Anne's team for your diligent work this past year in this time of global pandemic. You give the gift of accompaniment to those you serve as you demonstrate God's love, mercy, and grace each day. The light, love, and hope you give to others makes a real difference in their lives. From St. Anne's founding to the present day, your roots have run also deep among friends and benefactors. Throughout its history, benefactors have consistently supported the work and kept St. Anne's mission alive. Thanks to your generosity, St. Anne's facilities and programs are available to mothers and children who call St. Anne's home. I would like to take a moment to extend my personal gratitude to two young philanthropists who have given of their time and hard-earned treasure to assist St. Anne's. Thank you to Miguel Copage and Jake Garner, our two volunteer award recipients. Miguel and Jake, thank you for raising dollars of support for St. Anne's. We appreciate all you have done and the care you have given in sharing with the mothers and children here at St. Anne's. May God bless you as you continue to develop your hearts and lives of service. You are forever a part of St. Anne's family. Tonight, as you know, St. Anne's family celebrates 160 years of caring for children and their mothers. From its founding with incorporation by an act of Congress signed in March 1863 by President Abraham Lincoln, St. Anne's Center has been a leader in innovative services to women, children, and families, all the while led by the Daughters of Charity. Today, the Daughters of Charity are an international religious community of over 12,000 sisters, ministering throughout the world in service to the poor. Their ministries include education, healthcare, and social services, including St. Anne's Center. I am proud to present the Daughters of Charity with the Mary McGrory Advocacy Award. This award recognizes individuals and groups whose work bring attention to the needs of some of our community's voiceless, our homeless, and vulnerable young mothers and children. Accepting this recognition on behalf of the Daughters of Charity is Sister Mary Bader, CEO of St. Anne's Center. We are tremendously grateful for the hundreds of Daughters of Charity who have passionately served at St. Anne's Center the past 160 years. Sister Mary, on behalf of all the many women, children, and families who have been touched by the loving service of the sisters, and on behalf of the entire grateful people of God in Washington, I thank you from the bottom of my heart and present you and your community with the Mary McGrory Advocacy Award.
Thank you, Cardinal Gregory, for being with us and honoring the Daughters of Charity and St. Anne's Center. I continue to reflect in awe of what this organization has achieved over the past 160 years. The founding sisters and those who served in the past persevered through the Civil War, 2 world wars, the first pandemic, the Great Depression, social inequity, and unrest before today's sisters came along to carry the torch forward. It didn't matter to those sisters the ethnic, religious, or social backgrounds of the people who needed their help. They provided the greatest examples of how to serve in the most urgent and most difficult moments of community need. We are humbled to follow in their footsteps, and God willing, we'll be here to move the mission forward until the next generation takes the torch and carries it far into the future. We could not do any of this without the teamwork of our devoted staff, our loyal friends, and supporters like you. I humbly accept this award on behalf of hundreds of Daughters of Charity and in honor of the 3 sisters whose vision created this legacy. And now, in celebration, I'm delighted to introduce a talented group of Washingtonians, the String Queens.
Thank you all so much for being here with us this evening to celebrate 160 years of St. Anne's and Hope Blossoms doing wonderful work for the community. We hope to see you all at the next gala, and we also hope to see another 160 years after this. Please continue your support of this awesome organization, and we'll see you next time.
Well, folks, that was simply amazing. Thank you, String Queens, for such a powerful and spirited performance. Folks, this has truly been a special virtual gala. And as was mentioned earlier, I came to St. Anne's as a newborn and was adopted from this wonderful institution. I truly feel a lifelong connection to the important service that St. Anne's provides to our communities. And it warms my heart to know that so many of you would join us to support that important mission. Today, every generation relies on technology. The pandemic has shown us that's true. A $100 contribution, well, it can help St. Anne's families have access to Wi-Fi, cable TV, and the world. God bless you all for giving from your hearts. Now I'll pass the mic back to Sister Mary, who will bring Chef Jeff to announce the winner of that dinner for four.
Michael, thank you for being with us tonight. Your presence means so much to us. And thank you also to Cardinal Gregory for being with us and for helping us to honor the Daughters of Charity. We so appreciate you here at St. Anne's and in our Archdiocese. Thank you to Ajay for her very moving, powerful testimony. She's on her way to greatness. I would also like to thank our Board of Directors for your commitment to our mission. And a special thank you goes to our Hope Blossoms Committee for their fantastic work in creating our first ever virtual gala. You've worked tirelessly and you've been so creative in putting together this wonderful evening. Thank you to all of our presenters and performers and honorees for sharing your gifts with us this evening. A special thank you to our generous sponsors, and please, those of you who are with us tonight, please check out our program book and our website for more information about the individuals and groups that have made tonight's event possible. And thanks to each of you for joining us this evening. We're grateful for your support of St. Anne's mission and programs. And a big thank you also to our event production team, Infinite Icon Enterprise. We truly couldn't have done this without you. And last but not least, thank you to our dedicated St. Anne's staff for your tireless efforts and heartfelt service to the mothers and children who call St. Anne's home. Before we close out the night, I'm happy to introduce a generous friend of St. Anne's, Chef Jeff.
Thank you and congratulations, Sister Mary. This has been an incredible success tonight here at the gala. We're so glad supporters have joined us on the patio here at Chef Jeff's to watch the gala and congratulate St. Anne's on a 160th anniversary. And now we're gonna pull a name out of this hat. George Griffin, dinner for four at Chef Jeff's. We'll see you soon.
Congratulations to the Chef Jeff dinner winner. Winner, Chef Jeff dinner. Congratulations to you. It's going to be a magical and awesome night. And I'm a little bit jealous, not going to lie. I'm excited for you. I'm very much excited for you because I know you're going to enjoy that prize, but also a little jealous. So if somebody cancels, you can, on social, I'll be there in a jiffy. Thank you for all of you who donated tonight for this evening. Now let's find out the grand total for the night. Drum roll, please. And the total amount raised is, oh my, I'm speechless. You are amazing. Oh my gosh, thank you everyone who joined us, who contributed to this magical evening. You're amazing. May we all leave this program with a big smile on our faces, reflecting on the goodness that still exists in this world. And thank you for supporting St. Anne's Hope Blossom 160th. Good night.
Smile though your heart is aching. Smile even though it's breaking. When there are clouds in the sky, you'll get by. Smile through the hurt and sorrow. Smile and maybe tomorrow you'll see the sun come shining through for you. Light up your face with gladness. Hide every shade of sadness. Although our tears may be ever so near, that's the time you must keep on trying. Smile, what's the use of crying? And you'll see that life is still worthwhile if you just that's the time you must keep on trying. Smile, what's the use of crying? You'll see that life is still worthwhile if you just spread sunshine all over the place and put on a happy face.